Hey everybody, Sean from Movie Assault here, and it is time for my monthly pickups video. This is for October 2020, obviously the month of Halloween, and as such, I have got a ton of horror films this month. It wasn't really intentional. I did pick up a big lot of horror films off of eBay in an attempt to get one movie. As a result, I accidentally, well, not accidentally, but I introduced some duplicates into my collection. So I'll point out the duplicates, and if anyone is interested in trading, please let me know in the comments below. Or you can contact me through the email sean@movieassault.com, and we'll work something out. So I'll start off with the eBay stuff just because it's the closest to me. And sorry about that. I've got stuff sort of piled everywhere because I just really don't have a place that I could put all of it. This probably is a ridiculously large pickups video. So I'll go with eBay first, and we'll start off with a duplicate. This is, of course, very appropriate. It is John Carpenter's Halloween. This is the original Blu-ray release, I believe. This is Anchor Bay. You've probably seen 100 people have this one. So that's a duplicate, so if you're interested in trading, let me know. I picked this up too. This is part of that same lot. This is from Echo Bridge Home Entertainment. It's a Miramax double feature of Christopher Walken in The Prophecy and The Prophecy 2. Jennifer Beals is in The Prophecy 2, and it says first time on Blu-ray. I've seen the first one, and it's been a while, but I remember liking it quite a bit. It's from 1995, and then the sequel is from 1998, but I have not seen that, and I believe there are 3 more sequels. Did it go up to a Prophecy 5? I'm not 100% sure. But anyway, these are of high interest, especially Prophecy 2. This is another duplicate. This is the Belko Experiment, and I picked this up. Just wanted to open it because it felt really light, but I picked this up from Dollar Tree a month or so ago, and this was just part of the lot. This is a triple feature horror volume 2 from Phase 4 Films. I have not heard of any of these. I've seen them, but I've seen them on the shelf at different places separately, but I have never seen any of these films. It is a triple feature horror volume 2, Scar, the unrated director's cut, Terror Trap, and Midnight Movie. And let's see, Scar is from 2007, Terror Trap is from 2009, and Midnight Movie is from 2008. Scar is unrated, the other 2 are rated R. If you've seen these, let me know. Terror Trap says it stars David James Elliott, Michael Madsen, and Jeff Fahey. And I know Madsen and Fahey. I don't know David James Elliott, but all 3 movies are on one disc. This is definitely not a duplicate, and one that I am glad to have on Blu-ray finally. Kind of a bare bones disc, but it is Tremors. And I realized this just came out, I think Arrow Video just put out a version of this that I was thinking about getting, but I have this as part of the lot, so I'll probably hold off on the Arrow version. I did have at one point the Tremor Attack Pack on DVD. I think it was the first 3 or 4 of the Tremors films, but this is the one that I like the most, so I'm glad to have that on Blu-ray. And here is the reason I bought this lot. More for just the fact that the American version of this is nearly impossible to get without spending a lot of money on Blu-ray. So I picked up, this is Dawn of the Dead, but this is the European cut known as Zombie Dawn of the Dead. I think this is the Argento cut, but this is actually a German release from Clipper Entertainment. But it does have the English audio, and you can shut the subtitles off, so it's just as good. And it is not marked, but it is apparently region free, so at least I'll be able to watch Dawn of the Dead on Blu-ray. I just watched Night of the Living Dead, and I wanted to watch the 1978 sequel. So until I can get Dawn of the Dead at a decent price that isn't part of a ginormous box set, I will have to deal with this one. Here's another duplicate. This is They Live from Shout Factory or Scream Factory. I already have this with the silk cover, but if you're interested in picking this up as part of a trade, let me know. The case has a few scratches and dings on it, but it does have the reversible artwork, and the disc is in great condition, so just let me know. And then last of the eBay lot is this Steelbook that has got a little ding on it, but I really don't care. I don't have the film. It's 10 Cloverfield Lane, and comes with the DVD and the Blu-ray and some interior artwork. I'm not sure where this came from, like if this was from Best Buy or what, but there is a very small, not sure if you can see it. There you go. There's a very small dent in it, but I really don't care about that. It's the movies I'm more interested in. Alright, some more eBay here. This is, these are all separate. I bought these from different sellers. I picked up the 70th anniversary edition of Gone with the Wind. I had this in my collection. I bought it in a 2-pack with The Wizard of Oz, and for some reason I still have The Wizard of Oz, but I don't have this anymore, so I wanted to get this back in my collection. Also picked up The Evil Dead, the original 1981 version Steelbook. I've seen this in stores, and I just never picked it up. I got a relatively good deal on it on eBay, so I figured I would pick that up. Great film. This is one that I'm really glad to have back in my collection. This is hard to get at a decent price, and I managed to get a really good deal on this from eBay. I don't know if the seller didn't know what they had or hadn't paid any attention, but I got this for probably a quarter of what it's usually selling for, and that is The Mist, the 2-disc collector's edition with the 2 Blu-rays, and the second disc has the, I believe, the black and white version of the film. And I used to own this, and again, I don't know why I got rid of it because I love this film, but I am glad to definitely have that back in the collection and not spending an arm and a leg for it. And then last from eBay, I picked this up. This is to add to my somewhat almost complete version of almost complete collection of the Marvel Cinematic Universe films. This is Thor Ragnarok. This is the Blu-ray DVD combo version. Got this for a decent price. I saw this at Big Lots of all places for 10 bucks, and I don't know why I didn't pick it up. It was used, and I didn't know that Big Lots ever sold used Blu-rays, but I didn't pick it up, and I've been regretting it ever since, but that's what I paid for this, so I'm okay with that. So glad to have that in the collection. I now have all of the Thor films, and I think, I'll have to check, but I think I have all of the Marvel Cinematic Universe films on Blu-ray or 4K now, so I'm very jazzed about that. So I'll have to double check, but next month maybe, or this month, it's November now, I will pick up what I don't have and finally finish that off. All right, next is a bunch of stuff I picked up at Half Price Books. It's got the prices still on them. I haven't peeled the stickers off. 2 of these, I'll put those first. 2 of these are additions or re-editions to my collection, films that I used to have, I got rid of for some stupid reason, and wanted to have them back. First up is 13 Assassins. Picked this up. This was 8 bucks. In great shape. This is just the Blu-ray version from Magnet. And really love this film. This has an excellent story and some excellent action, especially the end. It's a Takashi Miike film, and if you like action films and if you like Takashi Miike, definitely pick this up. This is well worth it. And then the other one that I added back to my collection, it is the Blu-ray DVD combo of Prometheus, the Ridley Scott film, which is the continuation of the Alien universe. This is, of course, the prequel to Alien. Saw this in the theater, thought it was all right. It's a bit confusing, and I haven't seen Alien Covenant yet, so I don't know how the two are tied together, if at all. But this is just an interesting film, and it was for $6, so I figured I'd add it back to the collection. And then these are two new additions to the collection. I got this one for $3. This is on clearance. This is the Clint Eastwood, he did not direct it, but he did produce it, film Trouble with the Curve. And this has Justin Timberlake and Amy Adams and John Goodman in it. I've heard good things about it. Whatever life throws at you, The Trouble with the Curve. It is a baseball film. And I've heard, like I said, I've heard good things about it. For $3, I wasn't going to hesitate. And the last of the half-price books, I got this with the slipcover. I've heard interesting things about this. This is probably not a great film, but it's got George Clooney, and it's an interesting premise, but it is Disney's Tomorrowland with George Clooney, and who else is in this? Hugh Laurie is in this, and this was directed by Brad Bird, who of course is responsible for The Incredibles, so it can't be all bad. At least I hope not. So there you go, Tomorrowland, and that's the last of the half-price book stuff. I did get a couple things from Dollar Tree that I haven't shown. First, I'll do the Blu-rays. This is vinyl. This is, I guess, a story of two old rockers that put together a band, but they're too old to make it big, so they hire some young kids to lip sync their material, sort of a Milli Vanilli type thing. This is based on Mike Peters' true rock and roll hoax of 2004. This is from Shout Factory, and I don't know. Don't know any of the actors. It's Phil Daniels, Perry Benson, Keith Allen, and Jamie Blackley. Phil Daniels looks familiar, but I hesitate to say that I know what he's been in. But anyway, that's vinyl. And then I picked up Chips with Dax Shepard and Michael Pena. This was written and directed by Dax Shepard. Of course, this is a sort of reboot of the 1970s cop show as a comedy. I like Dax Shepard. Looks like Kristen Bell is on the back cover. I don't know how much she's in the movie, but this also features Rosa Salazar, Adam Brody, and Vincent D'Onofrio. Was directed, like I said, by Dax Shepard. So for $1. And then I got 2 DVDs from Dollar Tree. This one I've heard hilarious things about, and I figured for $1 I wasn't going to pass it up. It is Rubber, a story of a tire that apparently has become sentient. It says, careful where you tread. This was on Netflix for a really long time and was in my queue for a really long time, and I never bothered to pick it up. But for $1, or never bothered to pick it up off of Netflix, never bothered to watch it on Netflix. And then I also picked up this Magnolia title. This is the original J horror thriller that inspired the American remake. This is Pulse. It says it is also known as Cairo or Cairo. Excuse me. The scariest film of the year. I don't know when this came out. This is 2005. It's when it was released on DVD, but I don't know if that is the year it came out. But I like Japanese horror films. They sometimes get a little strange and a little weird. And when the Americans remake them, they take all the strange and weirdness and sort of dilute it, and then it just sort of comes off as awful. Exception to that rule is the American reboot of The Ring, a remake of The Ring. It's not as good as Ringu, but it is still fairly good. I'll do Hamilton Book next. Got a lot of stuff from Hamilton Book this month. I actually did 2 separate orders. First up is the Scream Factory Collector's Edition of Misery. Picked this up on regular Blu-ray, I think at the Walmart $5 bin a couple of years ago, but this was, I think, $5 as well, and this, of course, features a new 4K restoration. It's got a bunch of special features. This, of course, was directed by Rob Reiner and stars Kathy Bates and James Caan, and was based on a Stephen King novel. This is one of the few Stephen King novels that I read before I saw the movie, and I thought the movie did a really good job. But when I was reading the book, I was kind of casting the movie in my head. This was back in the 80s when I read the book. And I was casting the movie in my head. Who would play who? And there's a whole bunch in the book. There's a whole bunch of stuff with the typewriter sort of mocking the author. His name is Paul in the movie. And the typewriter mocks him. He's kind of losing his mind a little bit. And I wanted to cast Jack Nicholson as the typewriter if I would have made that movie. Of course, they didn't even include those scenes in the Rob Reiner version. But what could have been? Also picked up this action double feature. This is Clint Eastwood in Dirty Harry and Magnum Force. This is a 2-disc collector, not a collector's edition, but just a 2-disc pack with each movie on separate discs. The first film was directed by Don Siegel, and the second one was directed by Ted Post. And Dirty Harry's from 1971. And Magnum Force from 1973. And Michael Cimino helped co-write the screenplay for Magnum Force. I did not know that, with John Milius. But anyway, Clint Eastwood, action. Speaking of action, I also picked up this film, and I have never seen this all the way through. This is Schwarzenegger in The Last Action Hero, and this came with the VHS retro slipcover, but it does have different art underneath. For a second, I thought that was like a Canadian version. This is from Mill Creek Entertainment, and was directed by John McTiernan, and features Arnold Schwarzenegger, F. Murray Abraham, Art Carney, Charles Dance, Frank McRae, Tom Noonan, Robert Prosky, Anthony Quinn, and Mercedes Ruehl. The soundtrack for this film was phenomenal, and I had it. It had a lot of good metal bands on it. I think Guns N' Roses, possibly. Or am I getting that confused with Terminator 2? But I know Queensryche was on it. Tesla, I believe. It's been a long time since I've listened to it, but the film is from 1993. And I've never seen it all the way through. And this was sort of a bomb, from what I remember. And another Steelbook to add to the collection. This is Tom Cruise in The Last Samurai. This is a great film. This is from 2003. This was directed by Edward Zwick. And I really love this film. I have only seen it once, though, and I am way overdue for a rewatch. But I remember watching this probably 15, 16 years ago and loving it. It's a long film. It is 154 minutes. It's got a ton of special features on the disc, so this should keep me entertained for quite a while. So, The Last Samurai, Steelbook. And this was pretty cheap, so I figured I would go ahead and get it, but it is Green Lantern Steelbook with Ryan Reynolds. This is sort of the catalyst for a lot of humor in the Deadpool films. It's not the greatest film, but I figured I have the opportunity to add it back to my collection because I did have it before in a steelbook form. It was $4.95. It's definitely worth that. It's entertaining, if nothing else. Features a great cast, even though the film itself is not spectacular. But so that is Green Lantern. Picked up this double feature. This is another horror addition to my collection. And this is the Jeepers Creepers double feature. And I have never seen either of these films. And I haven't seen the third one for obvious reasons. But I've never seen Jeepers Creepers or Jeepers Creepers 2. So I've got them both in my collection now. Both directed by Victor Salva. And let's see. Who wrote the first one? I would assume Victor Salva. directed and written by Victor Salva, and so is the sequel. So there you go. Both of these are rated R. If you've seen these, let me know what you thought. And another re-edition to my collection. This features Michael Shannon, Joel Edgerton, Kirsten Dunst, Adam Driver, and Sam Shepard. Great cast. Midnight Special. And I love Michael Shannon. He is one of my favorite actors. So I'm really looking forward to seeing this. I don't know anything really about this other than I think the kid has some sort of powers. I added this to my collection, didn't see it, and like I said, I sold a bunch of stuff off, and this is one of the things that I hadn't seen, so I sold it off. But it was $4.95, I believe, on Hamilton Book, so it's back in the collection. And last but not least, this is another retro type cover, although this isn't a slip cover, but it is American Graffiti with different art, like an art card on the front. This, of course, was written and directed by George Lucas. Co-written by George Lucas. He also shared the credit with Gloria Katz and Willard Huyck. Not sure how to pronounce that, and that's the first time I've ever heard that name associated with this, because this is typically considered the George Lucas show. This, of course, has the fantastic cast of Richard Dreyfuss, Ron Howard, Paul LeMat, Charlie Martin Smith, Candy Clark, Mackenzie Phillips, Cindy Williams, and, of course, Wolfman Jack. And I have not seen this in years. I think the last time I saw this was on HBO in the late 70s, I think. So I'm glad to have this in the collection. Classic movie. The rest of these are Amazon, and I'll do the new releases. I obviously don't have a lot of new releases in this this month, but I did get two. I did pick up, this just came out on the 27th, I believe. This is the documentary about the Monster Squad called Wolfman's Gotnards, a documentary. It says the Monster Squad and its fan base get the documentary they deserve. And I kind of bought this on a whim. I don't know a whole lot about who made it or what the angle is. I'm assuming it's like a retrospective on the Monster Squad and where the cast is now and that kind of a thing. But I do want to see this because I love the Monster Squad. It's one of my favorite movies. So glad to have that. And then I did pick up a Criterion title. Saw the lights flicker. It's very windy here, so hopefully I won't lose power in the middle of this. But I picked up The Elephant Man, the David Lynch film from 1980. I did see this in the theater when it came out, and I've seen it multiple times on cable, but seeing that it got the Criterion Collection with a director-approved Blu-ray special edition, I had to add it to the collection. This is... the plastic is right over the spine number, so I can't see what it is. That's fantastic. It's all wrinkled. Looks like it says 1051. But there you go. Interested to see what they did with this. The special features are just absolutely phenomenal looking. Of course, there's a 4K digital restoration. Director David Lynch and critic Christine McKenna reading from Room to Dream, a 2018 book they co-authored. Archival interviews with Lynch, actor John Hurt, producers Mel Brooks and Jonathan Sanger, director of photography Freddie Francis, stills photographer Frank Connor, and makeup artist Christopher Tucker, who definitely had his hands full. There's an audio recording from a 1981 interview of an interview and Q&A with Lynch at the American Film Institute. The Terrible Elephant Man Revealed, a 2001 documentary about the film. Joseph Merrick, The Real Elephant Man. A 2005 program featuring archivist Jonathan Evans. Trailer and radio spots, English subtitles, and plus excerpts from an interview with Lynch from the 2005 edition of the filmmaker and writer Chris Rodley's book Lynch on Lynch, and an 1886 letter to the editor of the London Times concerning Merrick by Francis Culling Carr Gaume, chairman of the London Hospital. So if you are interested in The Elephant Man, the story of John Merrick, who of course had soft tissue deformities and skeletal deformities, and I don't know exactly what the disease was, but of course it made him rather unpleasant to look at for a lot of people, so he was kind of a freak show performer until he was saved by Frederick Treves, a London surgeon. Spending a lot of time on this film because I love this movie, so I will move on. I will do a review of that one in the very near future. Okay, this was a deal of the day on Amazon, so I picked this up. Couldn't pass it up. It was the Chucky Complete 7 movie collection. Of course, this does not include the 2019 reboot, but it does include all 7 films before that on individual discs. So they are all in here. I won't flip them all because it's going to get awkward, and I'll probably end up dropping it. But it includes Child's Play 2, 3, Bride of Chucky, Seed of Chucky, Curse of Chucky, and Cult of Chucky. And I've seen all of them up through Seed of Chucky. I've not seen Curse or Cult, but it does have this interesting lenticular window on the box. So I'm glad to have this. This, of course, just includes Blu-rays, no digital codes or DVDs. And another horror film, Poltergeist. This is an upgrade. I've had this on DVD forever. Love this film. Tobe Hooper's Poltergeist, of course, produced and co-written by Steven Spielberg. Just an excellent, excellent film. Probably should have watched it last month. But speaking of films that I did watch last month, we'll get into these 3. I've done reviews for all 3 of these. First up is Phantom of the Paradise. This was, of course, part of the Halloween 15 this year. Loved this movie. Just an absolute zany good time. This includes a slew of special features. It also includes a DVD. I love the artwork on the discs. Just absolutely kind of gives you an idea of how zany the film is. It's just a great, great film. Of course, starring Garrett Graham and Jessica Harper, William Finley, and Paul Williams, who, of course, wrote all of the songs. I never thought I would say I'm a really big fan of a horror musical, but here it is, Phantom of the Paradise. Love this movie. Then I did watch Candyman. Love this movie, too. This is it was the first time I'd ever seen either Phantom of the Paradise or Candyman. This includes the theatrical cut and the unrated cut. This is the Scream Factory Collector's Edition. Excellent artwork and a reversible cover, as does Phantom of the Paradise. I did not watch the unrated cut. I watched the theatrical cut when I did watch it because I wanted to see it as it was in the theaters. Excellent movie. Speaking of excellent movies, Night of the Living Dead, also a Criterion Collection edition. This is spine number 909 from 1968. And this includes a poster, which is of, I don't know if there's a picture of the poster anywhere. So I'll show you what the poster looks like. You've probably seen this because this isn't exactly a new release. But it includes this, and then on the back is sort of the liner notes. Mere Anarchy is Loosed, and that is by Stuart Clowens. But that is very, very cool. And there's a interesting bit of artwork on the inside of the case, and then there are 2 discs. Fantastic, fantastic restoration of this film. If you have not seen it or you don't own it, definitely this is the way to go. Just absolutely fantastic looking restoration. 2K or 4K digital restoration supervised by director George Romero before he passed away, and this came out in 2018. Excellent, excellent film. And then my last pickup is a film that I saw in the theaters back when it came out in 1991, and that is the Rocketeer. This is another re-entry into my collection. I had it before and for some reason sold it. Glad to have it back. This is a 1-disc version. I don't think, but something tells me the version I had before had 2 discs. I could be wrong, but I don't know. But I love this movie. It's very nostalgic for the 1940s. It's got sort of that a cliffhanger type feel that they made back in the 40s. Of course, this is the good guys versus the Nazis. And this stars Bill Campbell, Alan Arkin, Jennifer Connelly, Paul Sorvino, and Timothy Dalton. And just a great, great film. And this was given a state-of-the-art digital restoration and enhanced high-definition sound for its 20th anniversary. And this was, of course, from 2011. This is region-free, rated PG. And if you like sort of cornball action, The Rocketeer is a great, great film. So there you go. That is the entirety of my pickups for October 2020. Went a little overboard this month, but hey, I got a great deal on that horror lot from eBay, so I couldn't help myself. So again, if any of those films that I said were duplicates in my collection, if you're interested in those, want to trade for something, I'll tell you what, if you are a Dollar Tree aficionado and anybody has an extra copy of God Bless America on Blu-ray, I'd be really interested to trade for that. So there you go. That is this month's pickups video, or last month's pickup video. I probably won't have as many movies for November, hopefully, because my wallet is on fire. But as always, feel free to rate the video by clicking that thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't done so already, and click that notification bell so you're notified when I put up a new video. Thanks again for watching, everybody. Take it easy.